What is going on, my friends? Cubs fan Han here for another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. And we have definitely seen in the last several months and even the last several years some pretty solid changes brought to the game based on player feedback from Capital Games. We are not done yet, my friends. There is always going to be new ways we can improve the game. And so in this video, I want to give Capital Games 5 suggestions of how we can improve Galaxy of Heroes going forward, and I will also give a few honorable mentions. And before I get to this, I want to say as well, I'm sure that there are other suggestions you guys have. Definitely fill the comments up below. There's no way I can possibly give every single suggestion in one video. These 5 are the ones I'm personally the most passionate about. All right, starting with number 1, and that is to update how raid rankings work. And let me explain this a little bit. Right now, the way it works is you compete against your guild for set RNG of rewards right now. And so, with the current system, the stronger the guild you are in, the harder it is to get good rewards from raids. And so what I don't like about the current system, and I'll suggest a way to improve this, is you get penalized for being in a stronger guild. Why should there be any penalties for joining a better guild? The best example I can give is in my personal experience, not really recently, it's been about 6 months now, but I jumped into a more powerful guild than I was in previously. I was comfortably managing top 10 in the Heroic Sith raid. When I joined the new guild, I don't have a prayer of getting to the top 10 in Heroic Sith where those best rewards were. So an easy way to change that is to change how the rewards tier. Instead of ranking within the guild, you can still include a ranking and maybe even a bonus that goes with that. Have damage thresholds to hit instead of ranking it with your guild. So that way there's motivation within every guild to hit certain thresholds. Right now there's almost negative motivation for me to ever participate in the Heroic Sith raid because I know it's going to clear. I know that no matter how much effort I put into it, I'm probably going to sit between ranks 20 and 30. If I just auto a couple teams, don't really try too hard, I'm going to get in that range anyway because enough people are going to take zeros and I'm on my way and I can kind of just accept I'm not going to hit top 10, which is something I could easily hit in a less powerful guild. So updating the way raid rankings work, in my opinion, would really increase engagement and motivation to participate in raids. Number 2 on the list, and this is one I'm maybe the most passionate about. I think this is something the community really needs, and that is a sandbox mode. CG, please listen to me. Please bring us a sandbox mode. I know there might be hard ways to monetize this, and I respect that you want to spend your money on, or spend your time on things that are going to bring revenue to the game. But that said, the game is getting increasingly more complex. I personally, as I just got Darth Revan, I spent so many crystals in Arena, even when I was done with my payout, just so that I could practice attack strategy and practice different compositions. I can fortunately do that on a test account where I'm sitting, but a lot of you guys aren't able to do that. I think the community needs to have a place where they can test without having to spend crystals. The easiest way I think you could do this is do it in your guild. Have a guild tab within the guild section where people can program defenses. Maybe it looks a lot like a Territory Wars map, but the teams just stay there and anybody can program a team for you. You can go and attack it. That is something I think with how complex this game is right now, how many different characters we got, how many different synergies we got going on, how much theory crafting needs to happen, we need to see this come to Galaxy of Heroes. It's in a lot of other games, Capital Games. I don't think it's that far of a stretch for it to be seen in Galaxy of Heroes. Moving on to number 3, and that is to add replay. This kind of goes along with sandbox mode where it's just there's so much information that we need to have. And the sandbox mode helps with testing out, but then replay helps to see what went wrong, both when you're attacking and when you get attacked. I've seen this in other games, most notably Command & Conquer Rivals, which is a game I played pretty consistently for several months. And in that game, every single match you ever did, you could go back in and watch the replay of the game, the match that you just had. That would be so incredibly valuable in Grand Arena and Territory Wars. And where I think it would be especially valuable is if you could see the replays for opponents attacking you. Now, I do not know enough about coding to know how realistic that request is. That said, I've seen it in other games, and so I feel like it should be a realistic request for us to have that information available to us. You've got people playing this game, you know this, Capital Game. You got people playing this game that are extremely serious about this game. I think there are a lot of people that would take a lot of time sitting there, watching replays, studying their attack strategy, studying their defense. Where do I need to shift my mods so that we can get this better? Adding replay to this game would absolutely improve Galaxy of Heroes. Suggestion number 4 is very simple and requires very little explanation, and that is to remove the mod cap. Who has been in the situation where you reach the mod cap and you don't want to sell your mods? We've been farming these mods for how long? Now, I know that there was an increase of the cap once upon a time, but let's just slice it. You like mod slicing, right? Let's upgrade. Let's slice to no cap, because a lot of people are running into this issue where they've got mods that they don't want to delete and they need to keep them in their roster. Mods are the most valuable resource in this game, and requiring that mods are deleted when people are still desperate to farm more solid mods, in my opinion, is a little bit discouraging for players who get there. And so, in my opinion, we need to remove the mod cap, or at least increase it drastically. All right, getting to a few honorable mentions before I get to my last tip. Number 1 of the honorable mentions is to update the challenge gear. Now, the reason why I'm adding this as an honorable mention is because I almost feel like it's a lost cause. We've been asking for this forever, and I just have not seen it happen. CG, please update the challenge gear at some point. I've got like 4,000 items of several pieces of gear. I don't need that much. And then there's other pieces that I just would just give everything to have more of. Updating the challenge gear, I think, would be very positive for this game and more motivating. A ship squad selector would also be very helpful. I think this kind of speaks for itself. I see this the most when I go to Territory Wars. I go in to set my defense and I have to go find everything all over the place. And then when I go do offense, it's just, why don't we have a squad selector for ships and we do for characters? It doesn't make sense to me. We need to have that. And then the last honorable mention is more simming, especially when it comes to events. We've got a lot of recurring events, a lot of which allow you to sim and a lot of which don't. Why are some allowed to sim and some aren't? Let's just make it blanket. If you beat the event X amount of times, 3 stars, sim option, boom, done. Do your duty, get your resources, call it a day. And finally, the last suggestion is to drastically increase the amount of data available to players in both Territory Wars and Grand Arena. Now, there's a lot in Grand Arena I think that would be valuable, but I want to focus what I have in mind on Territory Wars. Now, when organized guilds are going after Territory Wars, there's a lot of information that they need to know. Who attacked what team? Who failed? What team compositions were used? Who got how many banners? And right now, you do have a tally of how many banners are achieved by different players in the guild, but after a while, it goes away and you're not sure. Now, there's ways that guilds can micromanage that by having a lot of communication within the guild, but there's always a few people who aren't super communicative, and it's just super, super valuable information as you manage a territory war to know who attacked what team with what, how many characters died, and how many banners did they get. All right, so for example, if you go into the territory war screen, when you click on a territory right now, I could see who earned how many banners, and you scroll up, and at a certain point, it ends, so you can only see so far. And so I think we need to be able to see everything and maybe if it only can go to a certain point, we simply tap on this section right here again, and it will show a full history there. And then if you go into the territory, right now you can see which teams were defeated. You can see how many battles were in there. But we need a little more information, and so what I think we should have, Capital Games, is simply tap on one of these sections, and it'll have a log of which players on your guild attacked the team and what composition they used and how many characters were either defeated or where their health and protection was at. A simple expanded view. Now maybe there's a cap on how many that goes to. If you've got 2 battles here, I think it's reasonable to show 2. If you've got 20 battles there, maybe it's only going to show you the first 5, but for the most part we're going to have 5 battles there. But from a guild leader standpoint, it might be helpful here. We see right here, this team right here had 2 battles on it. We don't know who the first battle was. I can tap on the team, press and hold, it'll pull up a little pop-up and it will show me who attacked, what composition they used, so we can know who to talk to about that one missed battle so that we can increase our efficiency. All right, my friends, these are 5 suggestions on how I think we can improve Galaxy of Heroes. I hope Capital Games sees the video and implements some of these into the game. And if not, hey, I'm probably gonna be out there for EA Play. I'm gonna track you guys down. I'm gonna give you my tips in person. What are some of your tips, my friends? How do you think we can get this game in a better place? I think the game's in a good place, but we could always improve it. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you did like the video, give it a thumbs up, my friends. I always appreciate the likes and the comments, the conversation down below. Always exciting to read that. As always, my brothers, don't forget
my dead body. Sorry about the mess.